Joe Diomede, TTRP TV, coming at you from my neck of the woods, but not my usual studio. Up at a friend's house who worked for the BBC, and that's where he met this man next to me, Dave.
Dave, yeah, hi.
And Dave worked for the BBC with Paul. And we'll get Paul in another interview one of these days. He recorded some cool artists in his day. He was more radio. And Dave was telling me you were more TV.
Well, I won't say more, half and half I did.
Okay, a little half and half.
A lot inside, a lot outside. OBs, football, you name it. Royal Albert Hall, London, anything at all. Women's Hour.
Okay.
Absolutely, right across the board.
So you did everything. Okay. So a BBC man, recording artists as well?
Yes, All Grey Whistle Test, Bob Harris, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Dire Straits, we had Dire Straits in one day.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
I thought these guys are quite good. Who are they? Dire Straits? Oh, never heard of them. This is early days.
Right. Okay, my friend I was telling you before, Robbie McIntosh, he plays, he tours the UK with Elsley.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
the
bassist.
Right, yes,
Yeah. And that's cool.
Yeah.
The world, it's intertwined. If we go back far enough, we'll probably know some people together, for sure. So Dave, what brings you down to this part of the world?
Well, I'm on my way to Spain. I have a place in Spain, and my two children both live quite close towards Gibraltar, down beyond Malaga. That's the last little bit before Gibraltar. I have a nice place there. I'm heading on there, and I thought, why don't I come by Carcassonne? I've not been to Carcassonne for 64 years, and I remember seeing it from the train when I was on a school trip when I was 14 years old.
Whoa.
That looks fantastic, the old city walls. I have to see that again. But 64 years have gone by, and I thought, I'll get the plane to Carcassonne. Paul kindly picked me up, and we had a lovely day in Carcassonne.
All right,
and stayed with Paul at his lovely place here tonight.
Nice.
Last night.
So if anyone's doing the math, 64 years ago, and he was 14. So I'll let you do the math on how old my man is here. And I'll put a little video at the end. I got him and Paul doing a little jamming. So tell me about your career in the BBC. You mentioned a lot of names. So what was Dire Straits. Boom. Give me a couple of highlights of that career.
I joined the BBC in 1970. I started off in Glasgow, in Scotland, which is lovely. I got married the same year. We both went to Glasgow. And we got into the Glasgow folk scene with Billy Connolly, Barbara Dixon, all the famous people up there. Jerry Rafferty, we used to see them all the time.
Wow.
And eventually, we had a child there, and then eventually moved back to Manchester in 1975. And I picked up with the BBC again. Well, I just transferred with the BBC to Manchester. Mm-hmm. And that was a great place to be. It's middle of the country, there's stuff going on all the time. Music, football, racing, you name it. I was on some of the news channels there, and drama, radio drama, television music.
Wow,
chat shows, you name it. I've done all that.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So any of those moments, like the Dire Straits moment, is there anything like that you go back in your career and you say, I was there when that happened, and it's like a big,
Well, the old Grey Whistle Test, which a lot of people have probably seen, it now and again, it usually came from London, but now and again, if a particular band they wanted was in a regional, out of town, they'd do the whole programme from whichever town it was, which was often Manchester. So we were into that. We booked on as a crew. We didn't know who the hell was on, but I watched these guys play. I thought they're quite good. What's the name? Dire Straits. Oh, I must look out for them.
That's the first time you saw them. Never heard of them. Unknown band. So
Sultans of Swing.
Wow.
These guys are good. So another time I went to Buckingham Palace. In London, the Queen's house.
The Queen. Of course, I've been to Buckingham 4 or 5 times.
So that was great.
I haven't actually.
In fact, I was with a guy called Terry Waite, who was well known for. He got kidnapped in Palestine and kidnapped for 5 years and locked away. But he was But this was before. He was a bishop, not a bishop, but he's in the church.
Right. Okay.
He was a lovely guy, and he was interviewing famous people like Princess Anne in Buckingham Palace, which I was at. Harold Wilson in the House of Lords. Chris Bonington, very famous climber. So we went to all their houses, hung out with them. I had to pin a mic on Princess Anne. Is it okay if I pin him? Oh, give it to me.
Cool.
Very nice. She's all right.
So I guess it's kind of funny when you start mixing with famous people a lot, that it brings them down to this kind of human level. She's just a human being.
Indeed, you find some of them are very, very natural, and some of the more famous ones are quite shy, and they're only okay when you switch the camera on.
Right.
Otherwise, they don't really want to talk to you.
Yeah,
They want to
interesting.
keep to themselves.
Must be strange being famous your whole life because people
that's
look
right,
at you
yeah,
differently, but
sure.
you're just you're just a human being, you know.
That's right, yeah.
And yeah.
But, another guy was David Coleman, who did most of the commentary on the sports program.
Oh, okay,
So Coleman, he was just fingering, you know. And I was the guy who had to set up his sound feed.
Right,
Can you hear that? Can you hear the director, David? No, so he used to tell me off here all the time. But
Right.
I kind of put up with it.
So many people who are less famous probably get more cocky, you know.
The thing is, he got away with it because he was very, very good at his job. If he hadn't been, he would have been out.
Right.
He was a real swine to woo.
Okay, yeah. Oh well. So that's, and we were talking about the humanity and you know, in our humanity, we live, and we were born, we live, and we die. And you know, your story is quite, you know, for me, very inspiring because you lost your wife. You said you just mentioned quickly. You said you married her when you joined the BBC.
That's right. Yeah,
54 years ago.
54 years ago. Yeah, and she just died 2 months ago. She suddenly got pancreas problems in Manchester. We've been to a gig in the afternoon. She was fine. Go to somebody's house, suddenly got pains, rushed to hospital. Next day, she's gone, just like that. Pancreas
After 54 years. I mean, the gift of it is 54 years what you made.
You know, so.
But tell us that story about the last songs you heard. You mentioned them before.
Yeah, we were at this gig in a place called Lee, which is in Lancashire, an old mining town, and this lovely band were on. It's a Sunday afternoon gig, very, very nice, very relaxed. And the last song they did, this band, was Bury Me Naked so I can go out the way I came in. Bury me naked, I want to go out the way I came in. I mean, you couldn't make it up.
No.
That's the last song she
That's
ever heard.
the last song she ever heard. Wow.
So it looks as though I'm laughing about it. I'm not really laughing, but, you know.
No, but I mean, that's what it's inspired me.
I'm quite sad, really. But,
it's inspired me about you, Davey. I mean, 2 months ago, you lost your wife. For 54 years, you're traveling by train and bus down to Barcelona. You haven't been there in years. You're reconnecting. You know, it's... You mentioned before when we first met, when you did that little clip that I will add on to the end of this tape here, that you know, it's, you know, when your wife was alive, you know, if you would have, you say, oh, I don't want to go first kind of thing, and now that your wife is gone, it's giving you the freedom to say, I could die tomorrow and I'm a happy man. So tell me how that feels.
She kept saying to me, well, if you go first, Dave, I'm going to live in Spain because we have a place in Spain. But I never said that. So I might stay in Manchester. I've got too much going on, you know, too much music stuff. But it's a sad time, but I'm getting through it. And I've got lovely friends around me, like Paul and you guys. I've met so many nice people just today, in one day. I can't believe it. I'm right up there at the moment. I feel very happy today.
No, I mean, it's impressive. You know, it's of course, like you said before, you're going to go up and down. Sure. But I mean, that's, to me, like you said, about the humanity of meeting those famous people, and you know, we're all going to go, we're all going to die. 54 years with a gift, and she's gone, and now you're moving on, and you're living your life. And I believe, I don't know her, but it sounds like she would have wanted you to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
You played music together?
Played music. We met in a folk club in 1968, a long time ago.
Okay.
I thought, oh, she's quite good. She was on stage playing. I thought, she's quite good. She might be good. I'll chat her up. Yeah. So I became her partner, and off we went. You know.
Wow.
And we just played local folk clubs in the Manchester area.
So did you have a little side career as your musician during your BBC stuff?
Not massive money, but we got paid.
Yeah, whatever. But doing what you love.
Yeah, it was great. And then I got into doing. I joined 2 different Elvis bands at different times. One in Manchester in the late 70s, doing lead guitar, you know, I wasn't the Elvis.
I was going to say, you were an Elvis impersonator.
No. But it was a lot of fun, I kid you not. I knew all the Elvis stuff from when it went out, you know, from the first time round. And I got the offer, I said, yeah, I'll join you, no problem. So I was a good lead guitar player, electric Telecaster, you know. And then we moved to Ireland eventually in the mid-90s, just on a whim really, found a nice house in the country there. And I got to know these guys who ran an Elvis band in Ireland.
Okay.
Right, I'm your man, right? So we had, what do we call? Oh, the Memphis Cats. Yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
Brilliant. We used to do these big clubs, you know. It was just absolutely
cool.
Fantastic.
So you've had such a colourful life, and that's why, I mean, it's so important to live your life when you're alive, and then when you go through something like you just have gone through, you see it in a different way, and you've moved on, and you're still going and quite inspiring. And so you and Paul play. Paul picked up his bass. He hasn't played in a while.
Yeah, that's right. Paul,
so you're inspiring people to get back to the music.
Well, I hope so. Yeah. But
Yeah.
I'm big into guitars. I have a lot of guitars at home and mandolins, and play. I pick up old wrecked ones and bring them back to life.
Oh, nice, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So I've got some quite good, expensive ones as well. But that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Whether how much they are, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
It's what you do with them. I'm quite good.
Exactly.
I find I can pick up a bit of a wreck and play it, and it still sounds pretty good.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's
good.
It's kudos to you and the guitar.
Sure, Mr. Clapton does the same.
Yeah, and so your kids living in Spain for 20 years. That
that's
had
right, yeah.
anything to do with you buying a
Not
house,
really,
or they just
no,
moved
no,
there?
they moved out. My son moved out there to Gibraltar. He just got a job in the what's the word? The gaming industry. Not actually, but as a security. Online IT stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he said to my daughter one time, she's a bit younger than him, well, you should come out. There's a good pub in Gibraltar. They're always having musical acts, and you'd be good. Oh God! So she got a plane out, played one gig there. They loved her and they wanted her to stay for the whole season. So she said, yeah, all right. So that was it. She never went back. So she stayed. So she plays all down the Costa del Sol.
Sounds like you taught him well, David.
Yeah,
and your wife's name?
Helen.
Helen.
Yeah.
So David and Helen, okay.
David and Helen,
and 54 years together, and now you're still going strong. I meet you just
I know, yeah.
But just by chance, and I said, you know what?
Mm.
I want to get this on. I want to get this man's story a little bit of it on my channel to show, like, hey, man,
there's hope there.
There is hope.
There's hope for the end.
Okay, Paul. Yeah, so Paul's calling us. Dinner's ready. They got an early flight tomorrow. Oh, well, he's not flying. Paul's going. So I want to thank you, David, so much for listening to you play and hearing a bit of your story. Hope you inspire others to continue on. And very good. So Joe Diomede, TTRP TV, coming at you from Paul's front garden, right down here. And actually, I am in the Ariège now because I live in Haute-Garonne on the other side.
Everybody else.